Hello and welcome to another Bedroom Guru. I hope you're all doing okay, not getting too stressed over all the Christmas shopping and everything you have to do. I've got loads of questions that people have sent in, which I'm really pleased and happy about, so keep them coming in. However, I think it's quite apt at this time of year to talk about Christmas time. Some people, when they talk about Christmas or think about Christmas, are excited. Perhaps they've got children or they've got, a massive family they can all get together with. But some of us don't quite have that, do we? Some of us are either dealing with people that have passed over. It's the first Christmas. We're missing them because it's supposed to be family time and they're not here. So it's just a few tips really and a few ways of how we as a family cope during this festive time of year. Personally, for me, it'll be the first Christmas since my mum and my stepdad have passed. So we're missing two people from our Christmas table this year. My brother and sister, all of us are all spiritual anyway. We're all psychic, we're all healers and mediums. As you most probably know, a lot of you have been getting readings from my brother Richard Morley. However, it is hard. Yes, it is exceptionally hard. Just the other day, I remember a couple of years ago, my mum bought me a little teddy bear with little angel wings, and across it has "Daughter, I'll always be your guardian angel and look over you. Love, Mum." And it fell down the other day, and it was all the windscreen was twisted up. So I have it in my car on the dashboard, and I just pushed it up and straightened the little scroll that has, the little message on it that the teddy holds, and it just got me, and I just burst into tears. So obviously, there is a human essence of grieving here that we have to acknowledge and embrace. And because my mum fell very poorly on Christmas Day, obviously anything to do with Christmas at the moment can be a trigger point for my grieving, and it's the same for my brother and sister. But that's healthy, you need to make sure that you grieve as a human being, that you allow the tears to come and honour the fact that physically they're not here. However, we do something a bit different, and this draws me to a message from a spirit lady many years ago when I was doing a reading. It wasn't a reading. I was doing a demonstration. I think I was in a spiritualist church. I'm trying to remember the venue, but that's the semantics really. Basically, the message was the most important thing that this spirit lady had to bring. Bearing in mind this comes from someone that's passed over and gone over. She was a brilliant communicator. And when I say brilliant, they're always the ones that easily bring their memories, their names, their addresses, important dates, anniversaries, names of their relationship, their relations. It was just so good. She was such a good communicator. And she was talking about to her daughter who was in the audience, and also about her other daughter who wasn't in the audience. And she was basically saying about how to deal with Christmas. And she said to her daughter in the audience, "Darling, I'm not having a go at all, but I just need to tell you about two different scenarios that were going on last Christmas," because it was their first Christmas since they lost their mum. And she said, "I went to your sister's house and she'd put a special Christmas tree up for me. They'd left a glass of wine out for me, and they had a picture of me up in the corner, and they had the best time ever celebrating my life. They kept mentioning me all day, and they had games and, typical happy Christmas day." And so she said, so it was easy for me to stay in the energy, and I was so happy to see that I hadn't ruined my daughter's my daughter's Christmas. And all the grandchildren were happy and celebrating the fact that Nan's in heaven having Christmas, blah, blah, blah. And so she said, so it was a very easy day for me there. She goes, however, I then went to your house. Now, what had happened is that, and I don't blame her because we've been there, we've all done it, blimey. But at the end of the day, she went round to the daughter's house who I was doing the reading for, and she decided to cancel Christmas because her mum wasn't there. She'd only passed a few months before. She didn't put a tree up, didn't put any decorations up, really didn't want to celebrate it, didn't want to go anywhere, and ended up just sitting with a bottle of wine, crying her eyes out in bed, not really doing anything. And basically, the spirit lady said it was so hard for me, one, to see that you were suffering so much, and two, she said, because the energy was so low, I couldn't keep staying there. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you, about the energy, but I think she wanted to try and manifest herself or do something. But she said the energy was so low that I just couldn't stay there with you because it was too low for me to like reside in the energy to be with you. And she said it broke my heart to see how sad you were that Christmas. Please change that for the next Christmas. So there's a little message in there really that, you know, we don't have to fake it, but they really want us to celebrate their life. They want us to celebrate their memory and not have our lives ruined by the fact they've passed over. And this is all down to faith as well, isn't it? Because as soon as my mum passed, we were all trying to picture where she was, if she'd met up with my dad, you know, she'd be with Nan, and that she would see all the pets that are up there that we missed, and she would be really happy being back up there, released from all the pain of her human body. And so, you know, I've always used this analogy, and I've said it before in other videos. It's like when you've got someone that's going on holiday, you wonder if they're on the plane yet and if they've landed okay, and wonder what the hotel was like and what they're doing now. And it's very much how I picture my mum's passing, where she is now and what she does. She's shown us some wonderful, wonderful synchronicity and signs to let us know that she's okay. Funnily enough, though, hers is banging and crashing things, which is quite funny because I thought she'd be more subtle than that, but she likes banging and crashing, so that's fine. Which has been exactly the same phenomena she was doing at my brother's, exactly the same time as it was done here, and then she came through in a dream to my brother to say, it's me, I'm doing it, which is nice. So anyway, what she was trying to say was, this spirit lady is yes, we're up here, yes, you miss us dearly, but try and make it a positive day. So that's what we're going to do. This Christmas, we're all getting together as a family. No doubt there'll be a glass of wine left out for Mum. And another thing is, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to have to move my little phone. This is what else I did, which I think is a wonderful thing to do for your children and for you. And then you can put one up every Christmas. My friend Wendy makes these bespoke baubles, and I think they're wonderful. So for instance, she did one, and these really help because you can put these up every year and sort of say, look, there's Nanny, we're going to have Christmas with Nanny or Mum. So she did one of my mum and dad's, their wedding, which I think is super lovely. So she did that one, and then she put some nice little, like my mum loved daffodils and roses. And she's put some sparklies in the bottom, so that's really nice. So I've got that one there. And then this is my favourite one because, oops, just knocked all the photos down of my nephew and niece. So this one, a piece of my heart lives in heaven, that she added to it with angel wings. And look, there's a picture of my mum. I don't know if you can see that because the light's reflecting off it. See, so I've got that there, a bit of snow globe going on, and then some little white roses and stars and some hearts in the back. And she even put an owl in the back there because my mum absolutely adored owls. She was obsessed with owls. And so basically that sort of thing I can look at, that, you know, during Christmas, put it up on the tree every year, and it's almost like a little, you know, homage to whoever's passed over. And so I can't say what else I've done with those baubles because it might ruin some presents. So I can't say that in case they watch it. But basically, it's a beautiful sunny day out there. I know that. So basically that's what I do to help cope with, obviously, my mum's passing. It's all about celebrating their life. It's all about creating some sort of excitement if you've got children, you know, that you have to help deal with the passing. And it's all about trying to get some sort of positive vibration going up. One, so that they can manifest into the energy and sit there quite nicely. And two, you know, they don't have human emotion there. They have, obviously, that they're spiritually aware of what goes on with us, but they do feel our pain and they do worry how we're actually coping. So by trying to make it exciting and dedicating just a little part of your day to them will really help. I think it helps you, it helps your children, helps your family, and it helps them stay in the energy. I've had all sorts of weird things happen at Christmas, you know, when we've said, oh, cheers mum or cheers dad or whatever, and then I remember I did it with my dad once and a glass flew across the room, which to other people would think, oh my God, something's going to get sucked in the telly now, poltergeist. It's not, it was him, but it was just thinking, what can I do to make it noticeable? Obviously, you know, that I'm here. So try and be as positive as you can. Try not to withdraw. Try not to cancel Christmas. It is exceptionally hard, especially if you've just had a very recent passing. You know, my friend just lost her mum literally 3-4 weeks ago, so it's going to be a tough one for her. But it's just trying to make the best of a bad thing. I would say if you are finding it exceptionally stressful during this season, it wouldn't hurt to like either seek out some sort of counsellor or make sure that you've got a friend that you know can receive what you've got to say well and give you good advice back, share how you're feeling. And I also want to add that, and weirdly enough, again, it brings me to another reading where I was doing a reading it was an intimate evening. I went round someone's house and was doing messages, and there was an older gentleman there, and his dad came through. Now, you assume, because obviously he's an older gentleman, that, you know, he's got over his dad passing and, you know, it's not a problem. He was in his 70s most probably, this chap. And his dad actually passed during the war. And he cried like a baby, this lovely man, because he just remembered his dad saying, I'll be back soon, in his army uniform and not coming back. And it was still very poignant for him. You know, so yes, you know, I still get upset sometimes over my dad, even though I know where he is. You know, he's passed some 30 years now, but it still gets you, doesn't it? It's never going to leave you. The pain of loss just basically gets less, the physical pain, but it never leaves you. You're always going to grieve them at some level. But what we need to aim for is an acceptance that they've passed over and that we can actually, function as human beings and be able to move forward and make plans and do things. That's a healthy way of grieving we need to be at, that we can actually accept the loss. It's very sad on reflection, but we are actually able to cope and, you know, do various things and move on in our lives. If you haven't got to that stage after a couple of years, there's no given time for grieving. But if you're finding that year after year after year after year, you're still in that crucifying pain that you just can't move on from, then perhaps it's time to actually seek some sort of help from a counsellor or somebody that can help you just get to that end part of grieving so that you can move on. They don't want to see us sit down here suffering at all. They try everything they can to bring us happiness and healing. But part of us, our journey here as a human, is to try and push through those barriers and lose that physical hurt. It's the worst thing in the world. Why do you think that I do these videos? Why do you think I do everything I can for people? Because loss, there's nothing worse than it. There is nothing worse in this world than losing your loved ones, whether they're pets or humans. It doesn't matter who they are. Physical loss is just horrific. So yeah, I would, as we will do, dedicate, the baubles will go on the tree. No doubt there'll be a photograph of Mum up. We'll leave a glass of wine out. Perhaps we'll play some of her favourite music. Not getting too maudlin, you know, you don't want to make it all about Mum on the day, because obviously, you know, there's lots of fun to be had. But there will be an acknowledgement there, and it will be almost like, because all the children understand spirituality as well, my nieces and nephews. So it'll be like, yay, Nanny's having a brilliant time, in, you know, up in heaven with Grandad, and, you know, all that kind of thing. And it's just acknowledging they're still alive, but just in a different area, just in a different dimension. I suppose it's like having family in Australia. That's the way we view it, and that's the way we deal with it with the children. You know, that's how we actually get through it. It doesn't matter if you get sad and upset, still honour your grieving, but it's definitely a way to do it. Also, you know, some people create memorial places in their gardens, which is a brilliant idea. Perhaps a rose bush or a tree or something's grown, wind chimes, water features. I've seen some beautiful memorial places. People have sent me some stuff in. It's just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful, like little butterflies and fairies and fairy lights. Beautiful, beautiful places where I think it's a really good idea actually, because you can go and sit there and it's like mum's or dad's or, you know, your son or your daughter's place. So you can go and sit and talk to them. And that's a really good idea because it's not the cemetery. They don't want you at the cemetery. You know, they're not there. They're around us all the time. So going and sitting in that memorial place in the garden, brilliant, because it's their place, you know, it's Jack's place. So we'll go and sit there and talk. And then you can say whatever you want to say, and then you can perhaps decorate it with Christmas decorations and go out there and have a drink and say Happy Christmas, Jack. You know, so I'm just randomly thinking of a name here. So you just, you know, can you understand what I'm trying to say? It's almost like you're keeping them alive, not in an unhealthy way. You're just honouring their life, and you're honouring the fact that, yes, it's sad, but you're happy and you're doing okay, and you're celebrating that day with them, as opposed to crawling up, wanting to die, and disappearing down the bottom of a bottle. Do you know what I mean? There's different ways of doing it. And it doesn't help you being that way. Obviously, if you've just had a very recent passing, like we did, you know, my mum passed the 3rd of January, but we were obviously, she was on her way to the spirit Christmas Day. Then yeah, you don't really want to do a lot of celebrating. But we tried to have fun with the children, even though she'd only been passed, you know, a day or 2 days when we got back. It's a hard one. It is a hard one. But all I can say is that I wish you every strength during Christmas, and try and find the positives. Try and do things that stop you from thinking about the process of how they passed. Again, this is another thing with like thought processes. Thought processes lead to emotion. Emotion leads to behaviour. And so if we start thinking about how they passed, when they passed, and that they're not here and that they'll never be here again, or you watch a film, you think, God, I watched that with Mum last year. You know, if we're going down that route of thought processes, try and pull it back and stop it, you know, and literally distract yourself with something else, perhaps a turkey sandwich, I don't know. But try and distract that thought process from getting into a really like heart-crushing emotion that then leads to you either drinking or just thinking, right, that's it, I'm shutting down for the day, I'm going to the bed and I'm just going to cover the world away from me under a quilt, and that's it. So try and imagine in your mind the word stop, exclamation mark. I always use this for everything else. And try and distract yourself by doing something else so you don't get into that full energy of acknowledging that they're physically not here. You know, try and acknowledge that spiritually they are. Try and acknowledge they're in that room with you then and there, whether you can see them, feel them, or, you know, you can't hear them, doesn't matter. Just try and believe that they're with you, enjoying the day with you, because they are. They're really doing that. You know, and I can't see or feel it all the time. You know, I can't, for some reason, when it's my life and my experiences, half the time I can't feel who's banging and crashing around this house. You know, it's only because my brother phoned me up and said, by the way, I had a dream last night, and he answered my questions and didn't even know I was asking them. You know, the synchronicity of what happened, he worked out who it was for me doing all the banging and crashing, so I couldn't sense a bloody thing. How rubbish am I? I thought it was my mum, but then you think, see, the problem is with a medium, personally, you think, I'm making it up because I want it to be mum. Do you know what I mean? And then you think, but is it though? Because I can see her in my head, and it's really difficult as a medium because you don't know if you're making it up to comfort yourself or it really is that person. But then, as I say, my brother phoned up and said, by the way, did you ask who was crashing and banging last night? Because Mum said it was her. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I did. So that's how synchronicity works, and that's how you'll get your signs from other people, like sending you messages or coincidences. So, for instance, if you get a crash or a bang and then, like, the favourite song of your dad comes on, or there's something on the telly that reminds you of your dad, it's more often going to be him. You know, so look out for the signs and synchronicities during Christmas Day, because there most probably will be a couple there. It just leads me to say, only a short message. Short for me, isn't it? I talk for England. It's just a short one to say, try and be as positive as you can. Acknowledge love for them. Talk to them if you want to. Happy Christmas, Dad. I hope you're okay up there. Have a good one. Have a drink. Whatever your way of honouring them is going to be, do it. And obviously, there's some people that aren't going to be able to cope. And all I can say to you is I wish you every strength and healing, and just try and get through it as best you can. But as I say, you've got to reach out to someone. If it gets so bad that you just think, I can't handle this, you're going to have to reach out to someone and have a chat with them and say, I can't handle it. And it doesn't matter how long they've passed. You don't think to yourself, God, they've been gone like 15 years, I need to shut up now. If you need to talk to someone, do it. Okay, share. So it just leaves me to say, have a lovely, wonderful Christmas. I will be addressing all the questions you've been sending me, but I just wanted to talk about how to cope at Christmas time. Um, Try and be the best and most happiest you can, because that's what they'll want to see. And believe me, they are going to be up there having the best time of their life. So they're going to be like up there with all the people that they've loved and missed, um, having a real jolly up, and then no doubt they'll be popping down in between. I'm just going to pop down and see how they are. I'll be back up in a minute. Hold that drink for me. You know, it's going to be that kind of scenario. And I don't say this as a fairy tale ending to try and bring you comfort. It's been shown to me hundreds and hundreds of times throughout my whole life how they celebrate Christmas, how they celebrate anniversaries, how they celebrate births of, you know, children down here they haven't physically met but spiritually they're aware of. It really is just a beautiful space to be in up there. For those of you that are more spiritually aware, you know, if you want to take yourself off for 5 minutes, do a meditation, see if you can get up there with them, try and do that. I've done that a couple of times, just sat and had a cup of tea with them during meditation, if you're that well inclined. But just honour the fact that they're with you. Try and believe that as soon as you wake up Christmas Day. And if you want to talk to them, talk to them. I don't care. I chat away to my mum, my dad, my nans, my granddads all the time. I don't care what people think. I chat away as if they're here. I go, oh my God, Mum, there's a new series of Death in Paradise. Don't forget to record it. You know, I just do it all the time. It doesn't matter. Does it matter? No. Talk to them as if they're still there. Do it. You know, it helps to obviously manifest them around you, to be honest with you. And it helps you keep that connection with them by talking to them. You know, the memorial thing is a fantastic idea. I've got one out in my garden. But at the end of the day, Alexa's started. I'm going to have to tell Alexa to stop. Hang on a minute. Alexa, stop reminder. Got to water my air plants. I've put airplane mode on. I've turned my other phone off, thinking I won't get disturbed. Alexa, she gets in there. So yeah, the memorial thing's a perfect idea. It really is. But do you know what? You don't need that either. Talk to them wherever you are. I've done it in the supermarket, everywhere. You know, I don't care if people think I'm a nutter. It gives me comfort and it makes me feel like they're still here physically, that I can still talk to them and say what I think and what I feel, or if I've got any worries. And so, you know, my little Teddy, my little dog Teddy's just been taken into hospital. He's there now with kidney problems, and I'm really scared. And I'm allowing my thought process to think, oh my God, I lost my mum last year. You know, he's going to go now. He's going to go, and I'm like, whoa, stop. So then I've been talking to my mum and dad all night. Oh my God, I've kept my nan. Go and sit with Teddy. Please be with Teddy because he's really stressed. Please be with him. Don't take him. Not yet. Please just sit with him and let him be okay. So I've been chatting away to him non-stop. They must get the right on with me because I've had no rest today. Rest in peace. That's what I hate, that bloody saying, rest in peace. I can't stand it, R.I.P. They don't rest. They're having the best time of their lives up there. They've got no bloody human problems, no human emotions. Obviously, they've got the love connection with us, but they've got no ailments anymore. They're having a bloody ball up there. And so, and that's, I just want to say this really quickly, right, is that my dad came to me when I was a child. I obviously saw him first when I was 9, but he came to me another time and said to me, I said, Dad, what's it like up there? And he goes, darling, I miss you all, but I'm having a ball, right? And then about, I don't know, 10 years later, I was having a reading, and the woman said, do you remember a conversation you had with your dad when you was a lot younger? So I was like, no, couldn't remember. And she goes, do you remember when he said, I'm okay, love, I'm having a ball? I went, oh my God. And she said, yeah, he still is, but he wants you to have one now. Go and live life and have a ball, darling. I'm like, bloody hell. So, you know, the things that they say and do, they'll always back it up. It's incredible. There isn't one single doubt in my mind. Absolutely not. It would be an insult to say that I worry that there is a heaven, or I worry that they're okay. Oh, my God, they are so loving it up there. And don't get me wrong, they're not like, you know, oh, we're up here and we don't care anymore about you. Of course they do. This is why the whole point of me saying this to you is because, you know, I when I do these messages, I get inspired to mention whatever I mention because it's from them. They're channeling what they want me to talk about. So I was going to answer one of the questions from one of the emails I got, and they said, no, you've got to talk about Christmas. You've got to talk about the fact that we're okay. We really are. We're not alone. We're all together. We're free of our human ailments. We don't remember the passing as much as you will because we've had so much healing and gone through the transition with Archangel Jeremiah. So they are really well. So don't worry about them either. You know, if you've lost children, they're going to be in the most perfectly safe hands and they're going to be exceptionally happy up there. The only thing that makes them sad is watching the suffering we go through. But they help that process. They help us to try and get as well as we possibly can. But it is down to some of our responsibility to help push that forward, and to help, you know, healthily grieve them after they've gone. So anyway, I hope that helps. Have a fantastic Christmas. If there's anything you need help with or you're struggling, please email me or talk to me on all the other social media channels or on here, because I am here to help and get you through the worst. So I'll leave you with that. Happy Christmas. I don't know if I'll get time in between here and the new year to have a chat with you. If I don't, just send some brilliant thoughts up for what you want in your new year. This is a year of completion, 2019, so normally everybody's been up in the air will come down and settle and find their direction in life, because I certainly am and have done. Be working with my brother a lot more next year. Yes. So have a brilliant Christmas, Happy New Year. I may put a cheeky little conversation in. Actually, I might do one with my brother because I'm going down to Essex soon for Christmas. So I might do one with my brother. Good idea. I'll love you and leave you to your wrapping and frantic last minute shopping. And just don't forget to raise a glass to the people you love and miss up in the spirit world. With that, I'll love you and leave you. Take care now. Bye.